The New York Islanders do not land Johnny Gaudreau. He ends up with the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll talk about the lack of signings on day one of free agency, how the signing of Gaudreau affects the division race, and where the Islanders and Lou Lamoriello go from here. All that and more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Gil Martin, so glad you could join us and be part of the Locked On Islanders family. And thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Lots to talk about with the Johnny Gaudreau situation. But first, if you've got something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to send us an email. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter @LockedOnIsles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter @IceWars, NYRVSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, free agency, trade rumors, and anything else that's going on about your Islanders throughout the rest of this very pivotal off season, all the way up until the start of training camp in September. So, Islander fans getting a sense of deja vu all over again, as the late, great Yogi Berra would say. Johnny Gaudreau seemed to be in the Islanders' sights. And, we started Wednesday, which was day one of free agency, and it was like, okay, 3 teams in the running. We knew Gaudreau was not coming back to Calgary, wanted to be closer to his home in South Jersey, and it was supposed to be the Flyers, the Devils, and the Islanders who were the 3 teams battling for that spot. Well, the Flyers needed to free up some cap space. So they bought out Oscar Lindblom. That took a little more than $3 million off their cap. Then they tried to trade James Van Riemsdyk to get that cap hit, roughly $7 million off of their cap as well. Couldn't move Van Riemsdyk, and it looks like they bowed out at that point. So everyone was thinking, okay, it's between the Islanders and the Devils. And my sources are basically telling me that the Islanders offered roughly $9 million a year for Gaudreau. The Devils offered slightly more than that. And it ends up that he signs with neither of those teams and heads to the Columbus Blue Jackets at about $9.5 million a year for 7 years. So not only do the Islanders miss out on the big ticket free agent for the 3rd time in 4 years, as in John Tavares, Artemi Panarin, and now Johnny Gaudreau. So that part of it is deja vu all over again, but you end up having a team in the division, in the Columbus Blue Jackets, the team that finished just behind the New York Islanders in the standings in the Metropolitan Division this past year. They end up with Gaudreau, which means A, you're going to have to face him 3-4 times a year, and B, that one of the teams that the Islanders were going to be fighting with for one of those 4 playoff spots just got a heck of a lot better, and the Islanders have not moved the needle at all. And look, there are still some other players out there. We'll see what happens with them. But right now, Islander fans, and I've interacted with a number of listeners and fans and friends on social media, especially Twitter. Islander fans are angry. They are frustrated, I think is the best word. And Gaudreau not coming to town. Now, look, there would have been issues in order to, just like the Flyers who needed to move the Van Riemsdyk contract in order to sign Gaudreau, the Islanders would have needed to make a move also, probably more than one. And whether they tried to and weren't able to get it done, or whether they just, weren't going to give it a shot until they knew they could line up the contract, we don't know. And we know Lou Lamoriello keeps it close to the vest when it comes to these things. But at the end of the day, no Johnny Gaudreau for the Islanders. He ends up with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And for the Islanders, we now go to Plan B. What Plan B is going to be, that remains to be seen. But I still said it on yesterday's show, and I still believe it. A trade is the most likely way for the New York Islanders to improve their team. And why? Because even if you go out and you sign another free agent, you're not going to be able to just sign some big ticket $5, $6, $7 million a year guy without moving, trading away another piece. So you got to make the trade anyway. The trade part is inevitable. And right now, the Islanders waiting and the fans impatient. Look, I'll lay it out this way. Lou Lamoriello has said he needs to make some hockey trades this offseason. And we know the two things he was looking for was a top 4 puck-moving defenseman. Got that. Check that box. Alexander Romanov. And he needs that goal scorer. Goal scorers are harder to get than competent puck-moving defensemen. They also cost more, which is part of the reason that they're harder to get in this salary cap era. The Islanders must, if they really hope to bounce back and make a run at a playoff berth this year. And remember, this is an older team. The window is going to close in the next 2, maybe 3 years. They got to bring in that goal scorer. They have got to do it. I still believe that Lou Lamoriello will find a way, whether it's signing a different free agent, whether it's via trade, to bring in that goal scorer. Will he be as dynamic and as great as Johnny Gaudreau? Maybe not. Maybe won't be as big of a headline or as sexy, air quotes, as Johnny Gaudreau would have been. But will it be someone who will help this hockey team get better and give the team that goal-scoring punch that they need, that they've lacked for years? Well, that remains to be seen. But look, I agree with most of the listeners that contacted me and that we went back and forth on Twitter yesterday. The move must be made. And it's just a question of you can't neglect it and you can't leave it alone. So more to discuss on this episode. We're going to talk about some alternatives to Johnny Gaudreau when all is said and done, because the Islanders do have some alternatives out there. And we will talk about another player, by the way, who signed elsewhere. So we've got that, plus our Islanders birthday of the day, and a whole lot more still to come on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Our next partner has a product that I literally use every day. Now, I started taking AG1 because I really hate taking pills. I'm not all that good at it. and I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. Well, what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your recovery, energy, focus, and aging. All these things. And it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And it costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So one thing that happens as a result of this signing, the Blue Jackets, all of a sudden, they've got some cap issues. And one player they need to re-sign, who is a restricted free agent, a guy named Patrik Laine. I am confident that Islander fans would not mind seeing Patrik Laine in an Islanders uniform. He has scored 40 goals in a season once, 2 other seasons with 30 plus. This past year with the Blue Jackets, 56 games, 26 goals, 56 points. Definitely the kind of guy who can put the puck in the net, who is lethal on the power play. 7 of his 26 goals were game winners. Is it possible that Laine ends up becoming available now that the Blue Jackets have signed Johnny Hockey? Maybe. There are also still some NHL free agents out there who might be able to help the Islanders. But again, if the Islanders sign a big ticket free agent to a deal for $9 million, $8 million, whatever that price is, you have to know that Matthew Barzal is going to want at least that much money come next year when he has to sign his extension. Now, he may not get it. He may come close, depending on who that player is and what they're worth. But it's not just about signing the one player. You have to take into consideration the ripple effect through the salary cap and what it means to this team. The Islanders have to find a way to bring in that goal scorer who's going to be a difference maker. And I still think the trade route is the best way for them to go, but we have to try at least to be patient. And if at the end of the summer, we get to training camp and the Islanders are still on the outside looking in and haven't gotten that goal scorer, then boy, it is not going to be pretty when I think about what this upcoming season could look like. This team needs to add that goal scorer. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there's got to be a move. There's got to be a move. In fact, the more I think about it, there's got to be 2 or 3 moves at least. Now, they could all come together. You make a trade, let's say, for a Patrik Laine, and you're dealing a Josh Bailey or Kyle Palmieri as part of that deal. We'll see. We'll see. But the Islanders have to make a move, and they have to get a goal scorer, or they're going to have trouble competing. Because you look at this division, the Penguins kept both Malkin and Letang. The Capitals still have the grade 8, and they got a goalie now. You have the Rangers lost some players, but they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot as well. And Carolina still pretty darn lethal. Now only 4, maybe 5 teams in the division can make the playoffs. So when you add it up and you do the math, the Islanders are going to need to be better offensively, and we'll see what happens between now and training camp. Whatever happens, we will have it covered for you and analyze it top to bottom right here on Locked On Islanders, your home for the latest Islanders news throughout this offseason. And one other piece of news, by the way, Austin Czarnik, no longer a member of the New York Islanders. He was an unrestricted free agent and ends up signing a 2-year, 2-way deal with the Detroit Red Wings yesterday. Now, look, Czarnik, 29 years old. He is what he is. He is sort of a quadruple A player who in Bridgeport was a point-a-game guy, 37 points in 38 games. A key part of Bridgeport's improvement this season. When they needed him, he would come up to the Islanders, give you a handful of games. He was a pretty quick skater. He was a hustle guy, played smart. The Islanders went out of their way to reacquire him after the Kraken, grabbed him on waivers when they tried to move him, but he is now a Detroit Red Wing. Probably will spend the majority of the season at Grand Rapids of the AHL, but wouldn't be surprised if he plays 6, 10, 12 games with the Wings, depending on their health, injury situation, COVID situation, whatever the case may be. But Austin Czarnik, no longer a member of the Islanders organization. When we come back, we have our Islanders birthday of the day, a player who spent a couple of seasons with the Isles at the turn of the century. He was a winger who was involved in a trade. We'll see if you can guess who that is. We've got that and more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at Built Bar. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given coconut brownie chunk the Puffs treatment. That's right. The coconut brownie chunk Built Bar flavor you love in a deliciously chewy marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. It's like a fluffy cloud of coconut brownie goodness. So stop drooling and listen. They are good for you. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and delicious. Coconut brownie chunk puffs are here for only a limited time. So go to Built.com right now and make sure you don't miss out. They're going fast because they taste amazing. And all Built bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. Delicious coconut, rich, sweet brownie, creamy marshmallow. Stop fantasizing. Get to Built.com to order your box of coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs right now. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. We are a day early, but this is going to be on Friday, the 48th birthday of former Islanders winger Bill McCult. Originally a 9th round pick of the Vancouver Canucks back in 1994. Spent 4 years at the University of Michigan and then joined the Canucks in 1998-99. Had a career-high 16 goals that rookie year. Then in 99-2000, traded midway through the season to the Islanders, stayed with the Isles, for 99, the rest of 99, 2000, and all of 2000, 2001, then played a year with the Senators, a year with the Wild, and then hung up his skates after the 2003-2004 season, which he spent at the Houston Aeros of the AHL. Has since gone on to coaching, was an assistant at Michigan Tech, ended up in the United States Hockey League as the head coach of the Tri-City Storm and won a championship with them in 2015-2016, and is now an associate coach at the University of Michigan, his alma mater. We're going to go back and look at one of his better games with the Islanders. McCult, a two-way kind of a forward, good defensively, could check, but could also pick up the odd point for you. Islanders, Rangers, Madison Square Garden, March the 5th, 2001. In the nets for the Islanders, John Van Beesbrook, the ex-Ranger, while Vitaly Yeremyev is the goalie for the Rangers. Islanders get on the board first. Only goal of the first period with Kim Janssen off for hooking. Mariusz Czerkawski makes it 1-0 Islanders. His 24th, Kenny Janssen and Tim Connolly with the assists. 1-0 Isles after one. In the second period, the Islanders are short-handed with Matthew Baron off for holding, but Jason Blake gets a shorty, his fourth, from Claude Lapointe at 5:17. Islanders up 2-0. Then our Islanders' birthday of the day, Bill McCall's his ninth from Dave Scatchard and Jason Blake at 6:27. Isles up 3-0. Juraj Kolnick makes it 4-0 Islanders, his fourth from Czerkawski at 6:42. For the Islanders, that is 3 goals in roughly a minute and a half, and it's 4-0. Rangers get back into it. Jason Blake off for tripping late in the period. Brian Leach, a power play goal, his 17th from Peter Nedved and Valery Kamensky at 19:13. That makes it 4-2. Then in the third, Sandy McCarthy makes it 4-3, his 8th. Mike York and Colin Forbes with the assist. But the Islanders close it out late. Kenny Janssen, his 4th from Mariusz Czerkawski and Claude Lapointe at 18:56. Final score 5-2 Islanders. Islanders outshot 42-34. But John Van Beesbrook, 40 saves against his former team. For Bill McCult, our Islanders' birthday of the day, he had the one goal. It was the game winner. He was a +1 and ends up with 1 goal on 3 shots in just 12 minutes and 53 seconds of ice time. So we're a day early, but a happy 48th birthday to former Islanders winger Bill McCult. He is our Islanders' birthday of the day. Not a great day for the New York Islanders. No question, fans disappointed, unhappy about losing out on Johnny Gaudreau. And I guess sort of the excitement of the chase, the fact that the Islanders seemed so close, that at one point the discussion was, yeah, there were only 2 teams in it, and we're one of them. And then to have it slip through your fingers, very frustrating. We got to see what Lou Lamoriello can do, but this team needs to get younger, it needs to get faster, and it needs to get more offensive firepower, and that's something that the Islanders need to do between now and, roughly 2 months from now when training camp gets underway. We will have more about this and any other moves that the Islanders make between on tomorrow's show, and we'll keep you up to date whenever news breaks. Watch us on Twitter, and we'll have something posted there ASAP. Want to thank you again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NHL. Locked On experts give you a daily 30-minute podcast on all things NHL all year long. Stay up to date on everything in the hockey world. Locked On NHL, your daily 30-minute NHL podcast. That does it for this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Hang in there. We'll figure this out. And of course, let's go Islanders.